workouts and training really brings out the best in most people. Finding that consistency and then finding the most balanced workout will allow anyone to achieve longevity.
Good nutrition allows you to train better.
Yeah.
Training well puts you in a good mindset. They all play a part and they all support one another.
Being realistic to how you approach and being transparent with your trainers and your coaches and how it fits into you is probably one of the most important things as well.
Building muscle is so important. Getting older, the importance of having more muscle and my strength is definitely becoming more evident, let me tell you that.
Consistency is key. It's not always about training like a crazy full-time athlete for a 6-week sprint or, eating super clean for 4 weeks and then letting it all go after that. The most important part with your strength training is maintaining your posture, keeping that overall health.
Dan, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
It's actually so exciting to have you on here because I have known you for so many years coming. I don't know if do you even remember that I used to train at F45 back in the day when you owned F45, didn't you?
Yeah, at Peakhurst.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was 15 years ago?
Yeah, so it was a long time ago. Very new to the, F45 training was very new to the market, group training, but some of the best times, I think. Probably, for you as well back then. And
it's I think it was very peak of my weight loss and I was training at F45.
Yep.
But so many years. So it's really nice to have you on the show. I know you've embarked on a new chapter in your life. So I'd love to, start by you sharing with our audience a little bit about you and what led you to founding The Yard.
Yeah, I think for me, I was with F45 as a franchisee for about 10 to 12 years. We started very early on in 2012. And that journey was amazing. Franchisee for that time. I started with one studio. I was 22. And it was very new to the group training market back then. So, we had our work cut out for us, bringing that product to market. And then at the end of that time, I ended up with 3 studios. So I had 3 of those as a franchisee. And then in 2019, 2020, I decided to kind of move on from that stage of our, my career and pivot. So I spent most of COVID in an empty warehouse in a lockdown, just building out the Yard gym. And, I think for us, it was an amazing chapter and we learned a lot. We had to be quite nimble in our approach. And, we bounced back out of COVID. We opened up the first ever Yard gym in Cronulla. And had an incredible 12 months. We spent the second lockdown basically doing PT sessions outside in under 10s, and I think we did 2,500 PT sessions in that time in the second lockdown.
Wow.
But I kind of had time to reflect, I think, on the journey that the Yard took, and it kind of enabled me to build out a franchise network and launch that in 2022. And fast forward to now, we've got over 150 sold globally and in Australia, and the US is starting to really take off for us, and you've got Europe and UK, and the next 24 months are going to be explosive. So for us, it was all just about kind of delivering a better product to our clients and having that creative kind of feel and linking up the two worlds of training and fashion and lifestyle. So kind of high level, story to it, but that's how we got here today.
Wow, that's so impressive. Did you, when you look back to who you were when you were, just a franchisee of F45, did you ever think that this is where you would be now?
I think, I definitely didn't think, when we took on the Yard and probably opened up our first studio. I remember sitting down and building out a financial kind of plan with with myself really, and I kind of said, if I sell 5, open 5 yards, I'll be happy, type of thing. But I think
150 later.
I think that attitude of just always, striving to be better, and people always say do you kind of pinch yourself, or how do you feel with all this type of growth and expansion? I think that you're so focused on doing a good job every single day that you just head down, bum up, and you just want to be better and better and better. And that's kind of, I think, what's allowed us to kind of get here today is every day you wake up and you attack it. And you're just kind of striving to be better. So deep down, I think back then we had the passion and the feeling for it, but we're really excited about the future and really happy to be here today and sharing our story. So
congratulations.
It's great. Yeah.
You should be so proud.
Thank you.
So what led you to get into fitness?
Yeah, pretty crazy story. I left school pretty early. I didn't finish school. I finished year 10. I didn't go to year 11 and so forth. But I left and I worked in the family business as a panel beater. And my dad and my uncle and it was a really strong culture. And work ethic was always probably, the main mindset of what we did. And I would go to work every day. And then in the afternoons, I would train all my mates in my mum and dad's garage and front yard. And that happens, I think 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays. And built it up to the point where we had about, 50 or 60 people turning up 3 days a week. And my mates were kind of like, look, Dan, you should do this full time. So then I kind of quit the family business. Everyone was kind of like, what are you doing type of thing. But I had a little Hilux and I filled up with weights and went to the park and started Dan Bova PT, health and fitness, and ran boot camps and one-on-one PT sessions in the park. And then at that time, that was around 2012, 2013. And then I found F45. So then I purchased that model and started that. But I think it was just the passion for like training people. And I think that's where it comes from, is like, I used to just, I'd leave work and just have this kind of feeling of I had 30, 40, 50 guys coming over and this drive to ensure they had an amazing session and took that responsibility really seriously. And just the passion for fitness. And I think training fed the competitiveness in everybody for me. And that's kind of led me to get into the group training, all the way back in 2012. So that's also where the kind of the name, the yard, comes from, is that it all started in mum and dad's backyard. So, it's a bit of a crazy story over the last, cool. 15 years.
That's really awesome. There's so much meaning behind that, right?
Yeah.
So what's your, I guess, philosophy when it comes to fitness, and how does fitness play a part in your life now? Because I can only imagine you'd be super busy, you have a family, you're traveling a lot to the US for work. So talk me through your philosophy of fitness, which I'm sure is what the art is today, and to how does fitness play a part in your life now? Yeah.
I think, generally speaking, fitness is you got to have a balance. And for the yard, it's the strength and the conditioning working, together, and having the ability to pick strength or conditioning is a big part of everyone's everyday kind of fitness regime. But I think for fitness now, it's about having a balanced lifestyle that really gives everyone what they want. And at the moment, and I think moving forward, everyone really wants that longevity to life and that bigger or greater fitness ability or lifestyle ability to live longer, live stronger, do more, and essentially do it all. You want to be able to swim, you want to be able to run, lift weights, do a conditioning workout. So for me now, it's about balance. It's about ensuring that I'm conditioned, I'm still strong, and my lifestyle is where I need it to be. And I think everyone's fitness, their day-to-day fitness regime needs to support that. It needs to support their lifestyle. And I think that's what we've been able to do with the yard, is support everyone from the ages of 18 all the way up to 60, and I tell the story time and time again where, we've got all ages in the gym, but my old man's 60, he swims every day. He does a rig session, he does a turf session, he looks after the grandkids. So his lifestyle is greater than most, and he's crushing it. So we've had the ability to really kind of adapt everyone's training to motivate them in all aspects of their life. And I think that's what we've been able to do through the balanced approach of strength and conditioning and rig and turf within the yard. Also bring in the lifestyle approach and the aesthetics and the social media, which hopefully I think ties it all up in a nice presentation and experience for everybody. And I think for me now, it's about kind of just supporting my lifestyle, which is pretty busy and traveling, and as much as I want to be out there training with, and competing with all the athletes and do everything the best I can, you got to be kind of realistic that it's all about balance, and, getting one session in every single day is okay, and not having to do 3 sessions. And that's where fitness kind of helps me stay focused. It keeps me fresh, keeps the mind kind of, active and on point. And just the endorphins and the community that it brings as well, just having a hard workout with the guy next to you, you're always going to have that community, and you're going to feel like, that guy, time and time again. It's kind of like you see 2 clients, or even for me, like I meet someone on the first session and it's like, hey, how are you? I'm Dan, we'll do rig. And the second session, you might shake their hand. The second session, it's a knuckle. Then it's a high five. And then it's, by the 5th or 6th session, they're hugging each other, So workouts and training really brings out the best in most people, and it's the fastest way to build a relationship is you do a hard workout together. So balanced lifestyle, and for me at the moment it's about supporting our business activity and mentally of as much as it can as well. So
it's funny because you said, sometimes it's okay to just do 1 session a day instead of 3. I'm like, I'm barely getting 1 session a day.
even
I'm doing like 3 sessions a week.
No, that's plenty too, and the same thing, it's you're busy, and, it's got to support you and work for you, I think, is the biggest thing. And
Is exercise a non-negotiable for you every single day?
I really like to hope that it is, and I think I strive to ensure that I do something every single day. And I definitely know about it if I haven't moved or haven't done a workout or something activity, general physical activity based. But I like to think so. But sometimes it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning all the way to 6 p.m. So you just got to, again, just kind of let it work for you. And I think that's what we've done so well with Rig Turf and the programming, is it just allows everyone to get to what they need to every single day. So
absolutely, I can vouch for that. I go to the yard, and those that follow my personal page that from the podcast and see that I go to the yard, because I always talk about the yard. But yeah, absolutely. I shared my own experience with you right before we hit record on this podcast, but didn't exercise for a whole year because I was doing we were raising capital, and raising capital is no small feat in a business, right? And so, when you look at the pillars in your life, one's got to give. And because I know so much about nutrition, I was like, oh, okay, well, my workouts, they can take a back seat now because mentally I just need to get through my day, and I can just eat well, and I can go on my walks. So I was still active, but I wasn't working out. And I guess I lost, the motivation to get back into the gym. And I think it was quite overwhelming for me to go back. So I'm just I don't what do I do? Should I be doing strength? Should I be doing cardio? Even though I have so many years of exercise experience behind me, I'm just I don't know. I don't have the discipline to just go to the gym because I haven't been going to the gym. So then I messaged you. I'm like, hey, I want to go to the yard. Where do you recommend? Yeah. Anyways, that was one of the best decisions. Love it. I think you've built an incredible business, and I think the programming is awesome. It can go from all the way from beginners all the way to the most advanced because it's so suitable to whatever you feel like doing on that day. Yep. It's you want to sweat it out, go and hit turf. If you want to lift some weights and feel strong, go and do the rig. Yep. And so really well done. So for you, when it comes to exercise, do you think that you exercise because of the aesthetics, or do you exercise for the way that it makes you feel, or is it a combination?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a combination. I really like to say that the workouts they're tough workouts. It's real training, and I think that the environment and the aesthetics of the space allows you and allows everyone to approach those workouts efficiently. And I think I always say if you took the yard workout and put it into another gym, it just wouldn't feel the same. The yard and the way that there's a method to it. It's what you see when you walk in. It's the greet. It's the meet and greet off the front of house. It's the polished concrete. It's the little 1%ers that we want to make sure we nail every single time, because I know that it adds to the workout. It's that boutique feeling, and I think once you get into the gym, it's that dark aesthetic. that allows you to kind of feel a little bit more kind of fired up for it. Almost like you're in the bit of the Hurt Locker type scenario, but then you leave the boutique hotel type, front of house section, which gives you that kind of uplifted feeling, and grab a Mentos and some lemon water on the way out. So I think it's a mixture. I think that it's definitely got this unique approach from start to finish, and we're excited to kind of let that experience grow nationally and internationally as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So with what you do at the yard with having like the split between cardio and strength, I'm assuming you would have a lot of people that come with a preference over one over the other. What do you say to those that are very like, I just want to do cardio, or like I just want to do strength? Like, I guess, like, what's your perspective on that, leaning into like one heavily as opposed to that balance of the two?
I mean, you do have the strength and conditioning where you can pick every single day. The programming is designed so that if you do rig on Monday, then you do turf on Tuesday. And the fact is that to be stronger, you must get fitter, and to be fitter, you must be stronger. And we do see people come in with their preference, and they do like to kind of edge towards the rig, which is more strength. But then you get like your conditioning bunnies that just want to be on turf. But I think over time people start to understand, and they start to see the response and the change in their own physical output. And then they start to really like the other. If they came in for rig, then they really start to love turf. If they come for turf, they love rig. So I'd say, I say to everyone is start with your favourite, start with what you're most comfortable with, but ensure that your next session, when you come back, you try the other side and you apply yourself. Because I think you'd be really shocked at how enjoyable it is, but how balanced you'll become. And that, like I said, the way that it's set up, it kind of pushes them into doing the opposite, which is the benefit of being a client. It kind of makes you do what you need to do. So it's all part of the programming. It's all part of the experience. So
absolutely. Yeah. So you mentioned something very early on in the episode where you said something about longevity. And so I'd like to know, what does it mean to train for longevity, and how can someone apply that to their fitness?
I think like having that balanced approach and understanding that consistency is key, from training, from nutrition, from everything. It's not always about like, training like a crazy full-time athlete for a 6-week sprint, or, eating, super, super clean for 4 weeks and then letting it all go after that. You've got to have your consistencies and working and allowing the program to work for you is the biggest thing. So if 4 sessions works for you and it applies consistency to your life, then that's how it works, and that's how you're going to be, get longevity out of what you do. So working with the program, and then just making sure that if 2 sessions, 3 sessions, 4 sessions is where it sits in your every single day, then that's what you stick to. And it's okay to drop into a 3-session 1 week. It's okay to go to 5 sessions 1 week. Finding that consistency, and then finding the most balanced workout kind of flow and formula for you, I think will allow anyone to achieve longevity in their lifestyle, in their training as well. So yeah, balance, consistency, and being realistic to how you approach, and being transparent with your trainers and your coaches and how it fits into you is probably one of the most important things as well.
Absolutely. I'm actually curious because this is more of a question for myself, but I feel like our listeners can get a lot of value out of this. So your turf, which is like the cardio side or the conditioning side, is, there is like cardio machines there, but it's still coupled with strength. Like you're still doing like your kettlebell, your shoulder presses, like in that workout. So even though I'm not on like the rig side, I'm still doing still using weights.
Yeah.
So it's not like high amounts of cardio. And like I am like, I love conditioning. I love getting that sweat on.
Yeah.
But building muscle is so important. Yeah. And like as I get older, because I'm like in my early 30s.
You're getting really old.
Yeah, I'm so old. Getting like older, the importance of having more muscle and my strength is definitely becoming more evident. Let me tell you that. But tell me about why strength training is important as we age.
Yeah, like I think strength training, like for me, when I look at the conditioning side, so turf, the cardio side, a lot of it's based around, I use a lot of Concept 2 machines like the ski ergs and the rowers and bikes and echo bikes. And they are, yes, they're conditioning machines, but they do require a lot of power and a lot of strength. And that strength endurance is so important because it allows you to maintain, my biggest thing with these machines is maintain posture. When you're living and you're walking around every single day, and if we look at our lifestyles and as we get older, you got to do more things like, for
Back
me.
hurts a little bit more.
You wake up, you're sore. Got to pick up, I've got a little boy, he's 4, got to carry him around. He's heavy and big. And so, just that posture and maintaining your core strength and understanding your breathing and your rhythm and how you move with a higher heart rate, that's a little more elevated, and understanding how to mentally maintain that breathing pattern is a big, big thing for me. And I think that's why the conditioning is so important. That's why turf is quite impactful we use those machines well. Like you said, we do use kettlebells and dumbbells to get our functional patterns aligned and strengthened up. And I think that's the most important part with your strength training is maintaining your posture and keeping that overall health. I think that strength training is the key to the overall health. It allows your appetite and your metabolism to grow, and you sleep better when you got a higher muscle density and all those types of things. So posture, feeling good, and it also allows you to train harder with your conditioning when you're a little stronger. So it all adds up, but my biggest thing with the turf is maintaining people's posture, keeping them upright, keeping them strong. And if they can start to learn to maintain their breathing patterns and that can apply that skill set to their everyday life, then I think it's probably an untapped kind of little secret there is how we apply it to the turf. So
yeah. We never really think of exercise like that, right? We don't think about the benefit that it has in our everyday. It's like, oh, I'm just doing it because I'm like, it's a feel good mentally, but then like, I'm burning calories, getting me closer to my weight loss goals or whatever it may be, whatever the reason is that someone is exercising. But the benefits that come from it, particularly strength training, when it comes to just like health and as we age and what it does and posture and so on, there's just so many added benefits.
Yeah, just the simple things.
Yeah.
I think it's important, and people kind of overlook it and they deep dive, but the basics are still important.
Yeah.
Breathing and posture.
Absolutely.
It kind of comes from our background of like competing and being an athlete as a younger self as we're getting older. But but it was always, endurance, any endurance event, and life is kind of similar, right? It's an endurance event, who can last the longest type of thing. And I think when we look at these athletes and we look at these long endurance events, it's maintaining breathing patterns and maintaining posture. And I think I apply that to life. It's an endurance event. You maintain your breathing patterns, you maintain your posture, and you're halfway there. So,
yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the other pillars, because when we talk about breathing, we can think about like mindfulness, even recovery, nutrition. So tell me where that, like how that plays a part in your life, and like what are your recommendations to your clients when it comes to recovery, mindfulness, and even nutrition? Because I'm sure they would definitely be asking yourself and your coaches like, okay, so I've got exercise down pat, but what about those 3 other pillars? What should I be doing? Yeah,
look, nutrition for us is, again, it comes down to consistency. I'm a big believer of, for me personally, then I really enjoy my food. Well, I've got my dad's family's from an Italian background, so like we love our pizza, I love our pastas, and I really enjoy that every Friday night, where it's kind of you've worked hard all week, and so for me, I've really tried to kind of nurture the nutrition side of the yard to having that lifestyle approach where it's okay to have, you can have a beer on a Friday night, you can have a little bit of a cheat meal on a Friday night, and everything's going to be okay, So for me, it's about consistency, understanding that, what you can and can't eat, and how you do that every single day, being smart with your choices, and enjoy that process and enjoy that kind of, weekly task of maintaining consistency, but enjoy the hurrah on the Friday and the Saturday night. So for us, we really try to do that. We also really try to educate people on nutrition-rich foods that support their training, instead of dropping crazy amounts of calories into people's diets to get a result over 6 or 8 weeks, which typically what other spaces have done is look to source good nutritious food that can support your training and add value to that. So that's kind of, the high level mindset is enjoy the process, get consistency, and enjoy food. It's a lifestyle thing.
Absolutely.
It's not, it's the best thing. Hard training sessions, have a couple of coffees and enjoy a nice dinner on a Saturday night.
I'm here for it. We're here for the pizza and pasta. We got you.
And just kind of, that's my approach. I think the wellness is something we're tapping into. So we've got an arm of the business called TYGW, which is the Yard Gym Wellness. Saunas, cold plunge, all built into a bolt-on with the Yard Gym. And I think that's here to stay. I think there's so much, proven benefits for it. And
so when is that coming to Double Bay?
It's built in. It's coming real quick.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
They got some space there for it. So, I love it. I think it's so good. I mean, I love that approach to it, and I think that, again, it's just like you're breathing, you're breathing well, and if you can tap it on and just, again, something consistency, like 1 or twice a week. It doesn't have to be every single day, but even just once a week, and use those added benefits to aid recovery, but again, feel good, and kind of get you ready for the week ahead. I think that's probably how we tie it into our training programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, they all play a part, and they all support one another. Good nutrition allows you to train better. Training well puts you in a good mindset, and then like sauna allows you to recover, to train better, and they all just talk to each other, right? And so it's like really like getting people to like feel that full experience and really like live that life to become like the healthiest and I guess like the fullest version of them. Yeah. So I just want to talk about some trends. And one that I'm particularly interested in, and this is like a question that I ask my guests as of recent.
Yes.
Just about GLP-1 medications, so Ozempic, as we refer to it here in Australia. Do you think that weight loss medications like Ozempic are a replacement for exercise when it comes to weight loss?
Hot topic.
Oh, very hot topic. Well, we could talk about this for a very long time.
Look, I think obviously it's there, and it's there for a reason. Obviously, there's people have their hurdles in life, with medical conditions, and I think obviously it plays a part for those people at the right time in the right place that they seek their medical advice, and it can work for those people to overcome those medical conditions. Definitely wouldn't recommend probably replacing physical exercise and training with such a replacement. Again, there's so many benefits to training, mental, physical, community, and I think you can definitely achieve the results with the right approach. Consistency is a big thing, but it's definitely probably not something that I would recommend replacing your training regime with. But I can see it's a very hot topic at the moment, and it's obviously got something, medically it's got a space. So,
absolutely. So what about wearables and AI-based training and so on? What do you think of those in this space? Yeah,
look, wearables are, we're tying, as our tech builds out for the gym, we're going to tie in a lot of wearables and collaborations, and I think they definitely can aid the recovery and the way that you do things, the way you approach your training, and I think that's what we're really working hard on is great collaborations with wearables that can aid the way you approach rig and turf. So based off your sleep and based off your recovery, we recommend you do turf, or we recommend you do rig 80%, and that information can be passed on to the trainer. And so the trainer will know at the level that you need to work at that day. So I think the right wearable for the right person is really important and can play a big piece of their growth and their training flow and activity. Again, with AI, I think, again, it can aid the process, but I just think that, again, with physical training, you're never going to replace that community feeling. You're never going to replace that kind of like human-to-human interaction that you get when you've just finished a big workout and you just finish something and you high-five the person next to you, and there's so many benefits beyond that interaction that I think will be very, very hard to replace. So, yeah, like I said, wearables, big thing. AI, I think, can help in some spaces, for some people, but community and high-fiving the person next to you is pretty powerful.
Oh, yeah. And even just knowing that you have to show up somewhere, because for me, what gets me out the door is knowing that I've booked in and I need to show up. Because if I don't have someone waiting there for me, I will find every excuse under the sun not to exercise.
Yeah. And one thing is, we've really tried to make it like actual group training. You know, you are working with someone.
Oh, absolutely. I partner with, like, you know how you were saying, like, you meet someone for the first time and then by the fifth time you're hugging. Yeah. By the fifth time, you know who your partner is every session.
Yeah. And if they don't turn up, they're like, where were you? I had to partner with someone else. Got a new gym bestie. But no, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So just to wrap things up, what is like the one, like, just to share with our audience, what do you believe is the most important fitness element that is often overlooked?
The most important fitness element that people overlook, I think that from my experience, is like consistency. You have to be consistent and enjoying the process, and don't have massive expectations on yourself. Like, just go through the process, enjoy the process, enjoy your training, and find that consistency. And I think if you can do those small things, you're not gonna get too far down the rabbit hole where you're going crazy and putting too much pressure on yourself. And that's where we try to rule out a lot of the ups and downs, the fluctuations. Consistency, big thing. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the community and training, and I think that people will find themselves in the right position at the right time.
Dan, thank you so much. Such a great chat. Super insightful. I've loved having you on the show.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Smashed it.
I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I loved being a part of it, and I'll see you at the next one.